Good morning, I'm Jason Stanton. This is my morning musing for Monday, June 7th. I have been thinking about this term earworms. You know, you get a song in your head and you can't get it out. I would think the word earworm makes me feel like that's a very unwelcome, uninvited thing. But the thing is that most things that get in my head, most songs that get in my head and stay there, they're welcome. I like them. You know, unless I'm in a certain ride at Disney World, and I'm not going to start singing it right now because otherwise you'll get that in your head. Unless I'm there and that gets stuck in my head for the rest of the day, week, year, whatever it is, almost every other time that I have an earworm, it's more like, it feels more like decoration. Like, you know, my brain is typically otherwise just this black emptiness. And you put a song in there, you get an album in there that I love, and it just makes everything brighter, makes it feel beautiful. I was thinking about this, about the power of music, because I've got an album in my head, and I was thinking about how music just lights up different parts of your brain. You know, when they do scans on people's brains and they play music, you know, it's obviously different from just language or speech, or it's the music part, the part that receives and processes and feels all that music brings. Music is the source of so much that we draw from for inspiration, for comfort. It's also the receptacle of so much. You know, those of us who make music or put words into music, a lot of our pain or grief or confusion or joy gets put into music. And being the source of so much and the receptacle of so much, I just feel it must be of God, for how much it feels like a gift in so many different ways and almost indescribable. I was looking up poems to kind of get at this idea. And one poem I found says about a songwriter: "She sang my soul back together more times than I can count. I hope somewhere, somehow she knows that." I know a lot of artists who write their own music aren't looking to be affirmed or thanked because their process really served their self. And if it was helpful to somebody else, great. But for the most part, they're just happy to have had an outlet, a place to put deep feelings. Again, it must be of God, I think. I wonder, as much as dancing is kind of an image we have of the Trinity. We've got a hymn in our songbook about the dance of the Trinity. I think Revelation gets it right when this vision of all this different singing that's happening in the new heaven. So the album I've got in my head is this Mumford & Sons album from a couple of years ago, Delta, and it just won't get out of my head. It's my soundtrack this spring. And I already know that in 2030, when I hear some of those songs again, songs I probably won't have heard for a few years, that's how I'm going to feel 2021 again. On Friday, I did my musing about time. I brought up the song by Cloud Cult, Time Machine Invention. Music is as close as I get to a time machine. And so I pray that you and all of us discover a new harmony that you've never quite heard before, that's never, for whatever reason, captured your imagination before, one that brings joy, perhaps one that acts as a soundtrack to the celebrations and reunions and gatherings you have this summertime. Thank God for music. Keep faith alive.